here. Alicia, come forward. I promise I'll do better on this swearing in than I did when you all got sworn in. This is going to be really, really simple. All you have to do is say, I do.
Okay.
But you do got to take that hand and put it up in the air. Say, I do. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you'll support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas, and will faithfully discharge your duties as Kansas House Representative for the 113th District?
I will.
Congratulations, Representative.
Thank you.
So here's what I need you to do. I'm going to give you this. I need you to sign this and some other. Take it to a shake. This is easy. You have to start making decisions.
House will come to order. Members will be at their seats. The clerk has opened the roll, and you may record your presence. Please rise and give your attention to the House chaplain and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Representative Erickson.
Let us pray. Gracious Lord and God, we thank you for this day that you have given us. As our leaders continue to work for the good of the people of Kansas, remind each one that servanthood must never let them become passive, and leadership must never make them become arrogant. Concern for relationships must never disguise complacency, and striving for achievement must never make them unkind. Reliance on grace must never shield disobedience, and obedience must never degenerate into legalism. Faith must always mean more than mental assent, and works must never make them self-righteous. Education must never take them down the road to relativity, and belief in revelation should not demand closed-mindedness or irrationality. Because God is just does not mean he is unforgiving. And because God is merciful does not mean he is permissive. Lord, help all of us to live by these principles, knowing that to do so, we need your help and wisdom. We welcome Representative Straub to the legislature. Help her in all the adjustments, and as she discovers her role here. In your name I pray, amen.
Has every member had an opportunity to record his or her presence? The clerk will close the roll and record the attendance. The Speaker recognizes Representative Hawkins on a point of personal privilege.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the members of the House for allowing me the opportunity today to speak about Israel. Later today, members of both chambers and many guests to the Capitol will gather on the South Steps to honor Israel and reaffirm the state of Kansas's support for our brothers and sisters in Israel. Kansas exports to Israel have totaled more than $721 million since 1996, and Israel now ranks as Kansas' 20th leading trade partner. As an important ally, it's important for us to recognize Israel today. In the gallery and on the floor with me are several people who I will mention, and if you're on the floor, raise your hand. We have Lisa McFarland, Earl Pickard, David Epps, Mary Humble, Alicia Bernison, Pastor Jim Cogden, Kurt and Treva Johnston, Donna Lippold, Rabbi Zelman Techdel, and our own Pastor Dave Depew. Mr. Speaker, thank you for allowing me this opportunity today. Please join me in honoring these individuals for their hard work on behalf of Kansas towards the state of Israel. I ask that my remarks be spread across the journal.
Without objection, so ordered. There will be no outbursts from the gallery. The Speaker recognizes Representative Amix on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, body. Today, we recognize Kidney and Organ Day at the Capitol. More than 115,000 Americans are waiting on national transplant waiting lists. Too many die before getting a life-saving transplant, making living donation and registered donors so important. Today, we honor 4 kidney recipients and 5 living donors. Some of them might not have been here today if they hadn't had a living donor or a registered donor to give them a second chance at life. The living donors we have here today are Sarah Hemphill, Deb Simmons, Cassie Hickle, Priscilla McFeeters, and Keita Kelly. The recipients present are Steve Hemphill, Jim Kelly was not able to be with us today, Terry Roberts, and Michael Kelly. Please join in me in welcoming these amazing and fortunate Kansas to the Kansas House of Representatives and all those that are with us today for Organ Day at the Capitol building. And Mr. Speaker, thank you, and I would like my words spread across the journal.
Without objection, so ordered. Introduction of bills and concurrent resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill number 2401 by the Committee on Federal and State Affairs, an act concerning the Kansas General Corporation Code relating to quorum for the transaction of business. Amendment to Articles of Incorporation. House Bill number 2402 by the Committee on Appropriations, an act concerning health and health care, providing for the authorization of certain business entities to employ physicians and chiropractors.
Messages from the governor. The clerk will read.
House Bill number 2044 has been signed, approved on March 18, 2019. Laura Kelly, Governor.
Introduction of original motions and House resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Resolution number 6017 by Representatives Weigel, Amix, and others, a resolution honoring the 100th anniversary of the American Legion and its posts and members in Kansas.
On H.R. 6017, the chair recognizes Representative Weigel for a motion to adopt the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, fellow colleagues. It is a distinct honor to stand before you and ask you to join me in recognizing the American Legion in celebrating the 100-year anniversary of their founding, March 15th, 1919 to March 15th, last Friday, 2019. The American Legion is the largest war veterans organization with over 2.3 million members currently. Founded out of the ashes of World War I in Paris, France, its mission was simple: to foster Americanism, advocate patriotism, and continue to serve our veterans and military across the United States. Here in Kansas, there are over 40,000 current members of the American Legion in approximately 500 posts and units spread across the entire state. There are small town posts. I'm going to just mention one up in Washington County, post 227, I believe, in Clifton. It's in rural Washington County, just several hundred members. And then you can come down here to Topeka and post 400, which has one of the largest members across the state. I'm just going to plug in, I'm the past commander of that organization. Wherever the posts are located, their mission is the same, whether it's a large post or a small post. Legion programs, including serving our veterans in health issues, filing for benefits through the VA, visiting our veterans in VA hospitals across the state, and assisting members with educational opportunities and issues. Legion members also assist with military honors for our fallen veterans. But the Legion also serves other matters, such as funding Boy Scout programs, Legion baseball, oratorical contests, and flag lines, and many other programs to serve our veterans. Some notable presidents that are past members of the American Legion: Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Ford, Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush are all members or past members, as well as Alvin C. York, World War II winner of the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions during World War I. The American Legions and its members advocate for all veterans and their families. So please join me in recognizing and celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the American Legion. And I ask that everybody celebrate with me on that, on House Resolution 6017. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I move the adoption of House Resolution 6017.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries, and the resolution is adopted.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I request that my remarks be spread across the journal.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you.
The Speaker recognizes Representative Owsley on a point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, body. Today I rise in front of you to present this certificate of recognition to the Brain Injury Association of Kansas and Greater Kansas City, to recognize that March has been designated as Brain Awareness Month, to promote public awareness on the extent, causes, consequences, treatment, and prevention of traumatic brain injury, or TBI, and to remind people with brain injuries that their families are not alone. 2.8 million adults and children sustaining brain injuries each year in the United States, and traumatic brain injury is a contributing factor in 1/3 of all related deaths. More than 5 million Americans and 54,000 Kansans are living with disabilities related to brain injury. TBIs can happen to anyone and are largely the result of falls, motor vehicle crashes, assaults, including those on our servicemen and women, sporting-related injuries, and occupational injuries. Each one of us received a Pi 10 invitation to the first floor rotunda to commemorate those with brain injury. To learn more and enjoy a piece of pie, please join me there and join me in honoring our guest today. And Mr. Speaker, I ask my remarks to be spread across the journal.
Without objection, so ordered.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Body, is there any objection to returning to that order of business, introduction of original motions and House resolutions? Seeing none, introduction of original motions and House resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Resolution Number 6018 by the Committee on Agriculture, a resolution requesting the federal government address water quality issues in the Arkansas River Basin in southeast Colorado and southwest Kansas and the prevalence of radionuclides in the waters of the Arkansas River Basin.
Senate Bill 40 appears on the consent calendar for the second day. Is there objection? Seeing none, it will remain on the consent calendar for the third day. Senate Bill 41 appears on the consent calendar for the second day. Is there objection? Seeing none, it will remain on the consent calendar for the third day. Senate Bill 59 appears on the consent calendar for the second day. Is there objection? Seeing none, it will remain on the consent calendar for the third day. House Bill 2188 appears on the consent calendar for the third day. Is there objection? Seeing none, it will be advanced to final action. Senate Bill 193 appears on the consent calendar for the third day. Is there objection? Seeing objection, it will be removed from the consent calendar and placed on general orders. Final action on bills and concurrent resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill Number 2188 by the Committee on Local Government, an act concerning the dissolution of taxing entities, providing for the dissolution of the White Clay Watershed District Number 26, relating to the tax lid.
This constitutes final action on House Bill 2188. The clerk will open the roll and you may record your vote. Has every member had an opportunity to record their vote? The clerk will close the roll. Does any member desire to explain his or her vote? Does any member desire to change his or her vote? Representative Ward votes aye. Call the House, seeing 10 hands, the call is in order. Representative Samsel votes aye. Call be raised, not seeing 10 hands, the call is raised. Are there any further changes of vote? Seeing none, 125 having voted in favor and 0 against the passage of House Bill 2188, the same having received a constitutional majority, the bill is hereby declared passed. The clerk will record the vote. Reports of standing committees. The clerk will read.
Committee on Judiciary recommends Senate Bill 78 be amended. The bill be passed as amended. Committee on Judiciary recommends House Bill 2137 be passed. Committee on Corrections and Juvenile Justice recommends House Bill 2396 be passed. Committee Commerce, Labor, and Economic Development recommends House Bill 2314 be amended. The bill be passed as amended.
Announcements. Representative Chris Croft will replace Representative Les Mason on the Federal and State Affairs Committee on Wednesday, March 20th. This appointment will expire at the end of that day. Speaker recognizes Representative Humphreys.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just would like to invite everyone to the prayer caucus immediately upon adjournment. We will be in the Speaker Pro Tem's office, which is just out and right around the corner. Everyone is invited for prayer, short prayer before our other activities. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. Body, I have a sign-up sheet for co-sponsor for a resolution recognizing Korean War veterans, as well as all branches of military service. It's on my desk here in the House if you'd like to co-sponsor that resolution. Also, Vet and Military Committee, we will have a short meeting as soon as adjournment at the rail. Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem.
Speaker recognizes Representative Smith of Wescon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Brief reminder, tomorrow, Rural Caucus at 11:30. We will be hearing from the District Court, Magistrates, Clerks Associations. We'll have a meal from HHB Barbecue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker recognizes Representative Mernan.
Thank you. Good morning, body. For all of those of you who are into science and the brain and have the unanswered question, is it nature versus nurture? Come tomorrow morning at 7:30 and you can learn the answer to that and have a great breakfast. See you tomorrow morning at 7:30 in the Visitor Center classroom. Thanks.
Speaker recognizes Representative Highland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Agriculture Committee will meet today at 3:30 in room 582 North to continue work on House Bill 2173. Second announcement, the subcommittee on Rails to Trails Act scheduled for today is canceled. Will be rescheduled for tomorrow at 3:30 in room 582 North. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker recognizes Representative Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is for all freshmen. We are invited to a Kansas Can Luncheon today at 11:45 in 582 North. Commissioner of Education Randy Watson will be presenting to us, so all freshmen are welcome today, 582 North, 11:45. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Just a reminder, Thursday Summit, we will be meeting in 152 South. Secretary Howard will be our guest speaker, and it's our regular room. And the second one is just a reminder that tomorrow night is our big party, Party with the House at the Brownstone, and it starts at 7 and it ends at 11 p.m. Please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Curtis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Members of the Wyandotte and Leavenworth delegation, we are having lunch today in room 155 South, our usual room. And our speaker today is from Reach Healthcare as well as Healthy Communities Wyandotte. So hope you all will join us. Thank you.
Speaker recognizes Representative Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Democrats, we will have agenda tomorrow morning at 8:30 in room 144 South, 8:30 and 144 South. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Are there any further announcements? Seeing none, Speaker would recognize Majority Leader Hawkins for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Republicans, we will have calendar tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the old Supreme Court room. Mr. Speaker, I move the House adjourn until Wednesday, March 20th at 11 a.m.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. We are adjourned.